Welcome back to the Discover Fort Smith podcast. My name is Josh Bufink. I'm with the city of Fort Smith. Today, my co-host is Ashley Backert. She's executive director at the CVB, Convention and Visitors Bureau, which is known as Discover Fort Smith. And so we're excited to have you back as my co-host.
Back. This is like my favorite day.
Yeah, and today we're at the Chaffee Barbershop Museum, which is located in Chaffee Crossing. If you've never been out here, come check it out. The exhibits are amazing. It's recently renovated. So if you've been here before but haven't been in a while, you need to come back and check out all the new stuff that's here as well. But today we are with Miss Molly Ann Dunaway. Thank you for being here, Molly.
Thank you for having me.
And you were recently crowned Miss Worldwide 2025.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about how you got started in pageantry, or how you became Miss Worldwide 2025.
Sure. So I was in some pageants when I was younger, but I really don't remember it other than having pictures of it. So as I became a single mom about 3 years ago, I was online and watching a friend of mine who was my age, as she had done a pageant, she won, and I was watching her journey in this, and I just felt so drawn to it and just thought, wow, I would really like to do something like that. And as some time went by, I couldn't get it out of my mind. I kept thinking how I would like to do that.
Had you done pageants before? Or?
No, just
a little.
Maybe like when I was little bitty.
Okay.
You know? So I don't even remember it.
Yeah. Wow.
So I ended up seeing an ad online for the Miss Sebastian County pageant. And I thought, oh my goodness, I really want to do this. So I was so excited. And then I clicked on the link and was super disappointed to find out it was only 2 weeks away.
Oh my gosh.
And of course, the pageant, I immediately told myself, I can't do that. That's not enough time to get all the outfits and prepare for the interview and, and all the things that pageants entail. But as soon as I told myself I can't, I was very convicted of my words. I've always raised my 9 kids that I can't is worse than a bad word in our house. Mm-hmm. And I tell them it's the word we use when we're too lazy to try hard enough. So I had to take my own advice and followed the link and applied. And I spent the next 2 weeks just hustling around. I had a really dear friend of mine bring over all her formal outfits and her clothes and heels. And we just dug through it and found the things I needed. And I went to the pageant. I walked away that night as Miss Sebastian County.
Wow.
And I've had the absolute time of my life. Representing the county at all sorts of events and fundraisers and parades. And it's just honestly been more than I thought it would be. Yeah. And made incredible friendships. But as my year was progressing, I knew in the back of my mind that my reign would eventually be over. And I felt that I was just coming into my own and wanted to do another pageant. And I had started looking online at other pageants and things. Another ad popped in front of me. Facebook reads your mind or something.
The world just wanted to make sure you knew you were meant for this.
Yeah.
Right. So I saw the ad for the Miss Worldwide pageant, but I felt that was really above my head. And I kind of kept quiet about it. I didn't say anything.
It sounds pretty grand worldwide.
It is.
Yeah.
It's very intimidating.
Yeah.
Right? So I had kept quiet about it as I was thinking about it, but I was very drawn to it, and couldn't get it out of my head. I told one friend, a friend of mine, Brandon, and he looked at me and said, "Molly, you need to do it." And I think that was just the courage I needed to get me there. So I went home that night and applied, finished my application, sent it in. And the Miss Worldwide pageant is different from other pageants in the sense that typically a pageant, you can pay your entry fee and sign up and you can be in. But the Miss Worldwide is very exclusive pageant. They look for a very specific type of woman to represent their title. The logo is Beauty, Inspiration, and Integrity. So there is a lengthy application process, and you're accepted or denied. So we were sifting through all of this application process and these papers and that I was having to write and do all these different things. And Brandon was helping me with this because he's better at all that than I am.
Yeah.
So he was teaching me how to do these things, which was making me better. And I got to the end of the application process and was still in, and had a Zoom interview with the Miss USA and Miss Worldwide director. And after the Zoom interview, I received an email that I'd been accepted, and that's where I earned the title of Miss Arkansas Worldwide.
And then after you do that, I guess you go to another pageant, right? Was it in Omaha? Is that
Yes.
right? Okay.
So the Miss Worldwide pageant was in Omaha, Nebraska. And we had the most incredible women who were there representing their states, and all had wonderful charities. And we're all connected now on social media. Of course, we spent a whole week together in a hotel, and high demand. We were at event after event after event, and stage practice for 12 hours one day. And so we all bonded very well. And they're incredible women who were all very well deserving, and who I'm very proud of.
Yeah. So what goes into preparation for something like that? Because it sounds like a lot of preparation. And I don't think a lot of people realize.
I think the only way people have any concept is like miscongeniality, like movie thought process.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in a long time. Sandra Bullock. Yeah, bringing it back. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, there may be some reality to there.
You were with the FBI.
Yeah.
Solving crime.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are you?
Sounds fun. I would.
Yeah.
So a lot of the preparation is working with your charity, knowing your charity inside and out, and as well as being able to be confident on stage, being able to walk in heels on stage. That was no problem because I do these events, and most days I'd be in heels for 17 hours straight.
Oh gosh.
So I'd have blisters and things, and but it's just part of it.
I just said, oh gosh, like I knew what walking in heels for 17 hours would be like. I don't, but that does sound painful. I can imagine. Sorry.
And not delve into that.
Sorry.
So I needed to be able to be confident on stage. I needed all the outfits. I needed to be well versed in my charity. Some things like that. But other things like having to rearrange work for a week and a half to be out of town. My kids, I have great support system with my parents who are both retired and able to help me. And I also have adult children who step in and do so much for their younger siblings. So I'm in a very unique position that I'm able to put time and energy into my pageantry and my charity, which is absolutely wonderful. But, some women had a lot more to arrange than I did.
Yeah.
So,
well, tell us. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just want to say or ask, what was the hardest part for you? Like you talk about overcoming and learning things and stuff. Like during that whole process, what was the hardest part? And what's one thing I think maybe you learned about yourself that you hadn't previously even realized?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I think, there was a time that it was very tough for me. I was Miss Arkansas Worldwide for 105 days. In that 105 days, I attended nearly 80 events representing my county and my charity.
Wow.
On top of working, being a single mom of 9 children, and, being active in our church and different things like that as well. So there was the majority of that 105 days, I got maybe 4 hours of sleep, and I'm in the middle of the night putting something in the crock pot because I know I have an event the next day, and I'm taking a carry-on bag to the car so I can change and go from work to event. And so I'm planning multiple days ahead and making sure I have these things done. And on top of the papers we had to write, the different things that we had to do, and the having to get the support. I needed to find businesses who would partner with me and things. So that was a new thing for me. And Brandon was teaching me how to do these things. Yeah. And he was helping me with all the things I didn't know how to do. And I'll tell you that it became very taxing, not getting sleep and pushing myself to the limits. And there was a point at which I highly thought about dropping out. Mm-hmm. But I knew how much Brandon had invested in me, and I knew how much he believed in me, and I did not want to let him down.
Yeah.
And so I pushed through, and I'm glad I did. It was a great experience. I think anytime you're almost to the end of something and you're at your point of exhaustion, you think about quitting, but it's just not an option.
Yeah. I love that you have a support system, both of Brandon and girlfriends and your kids and family. Like, I think sometimes we overlook those that are closest to us and what they can do to really support our dreams throughout everything.
Yes.
Yeah. And when we say Brandon, we're talking about Dr. Brandon Chase Goldsmith,
yes, sir.
Who is over the Fort Smith International Film Festival, and a lot of people in town know. He was actually on this podcast. I didn't get to be a part of that interview, but he was on this podcast, and what a wonderful guy.
He is. He pours into this community, and he loves to see people succeed. He loves to see our community grow and thrive with people who are successful, and he pours into all of these different businesses, people and individuals like myself. And I'm no one special. I just happen to cross paths with him at the right time and be able to benefit from his generosity.
That's awesome.
And is made a big difference for me.
So you've mentioned that you're a single mother of 9 children.
Yes, sir.
How in the world have you managed all of that? Are you like a calendar master, or how? I have 3 kids.
And what are ages? Yeah. You said adult and 2. So now I'm like, okay, what are the?
I am just my mind is blown by that. Like how to keep up with everything like that. I want to learn from you in this moment. Okay. So teach me your ways.
Well, I have a lot of adult children.
Yeah.
And so that has put me into a new season of life where they are, they're independent. A couple of them still live at home. Some of them have moved out, but they're a help to me. They love to be with their siblings, and I'll get on a group chat with them and say, hey, I have an event tonight and I've got supper in the oven. And before I can even finish, someone goes, oh, me and my girlfriend, we're going to go out tonight, but we'll just come to the house instead and make sure the little ones have their supper and get in bed, or I'll, mention it to my parents and they say, yes, bring them over, please. And so it is incredible getting to have that support system. My oldest son is going to be 23 in a few weeks and lives in Kansas City. He's in church ministries up there.
Oh, nice.
And then the rest are all here. And down to my youngest, she's 7 and starting first grade next week.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Pearl Ann.
I love that. They seem really tight knit, like it's a tight knit group.
They're very tight. Yeah. So the older ones, they'll make new friends or have a new girlfriend or boyfriend, and they say how intimidating it was because they're like a gang and they're all best friends, and you can't mess with them because they're so close. And I love that. That makes my mama heart very happy to see them being close. That's I know that. We spent many years homeschooling and talking about the value of family and staying together no matter what. And to see them thriving in that is very heartwarming.
Yeah.
What have they said about your pathway into this? Like, I'm sure there's a little bit of the, like, this is incredible, but like, you have a 7-year-old daughter. Like, what is it like to be in your role and have a 7-year-old literally looking up to you and what you're accomplishing?
Yes, we've had some funny experiences with the kids being in different age categories and my new pageant journey. My oldest sons, when I told them, my son, he looked at me and said, Great. My friends are going to give me so much crap over this. And they have, and I've been out in town and just meeting people, and I don't know that they're my son's friends. And they say, can we have a picture? And I'll take a picture. And then a little bit later, my son will text me and say, Mom, quit taking pictures of my friends. They're all over Snapchat. And I don't know.
Yeah, that's funny.
Funny stuff like that. And then, the younger girls have all previously just been in sports and love sports, but now they're starting to say, oh, I want to do a pageant. And so they're interested in that. We're finding some pageants for them. And my daughter, my 16-year-old daughter and my 20-year-old daughter, they were at the pageant in Omaha and had brought up all the little girls. They drove up the day before, and I have a video. They videoed the moment where my name was called and I was crowned, and they were sitting there videoing. It's the funniest thing. I put it on my Facebook, and it was down to the two of us that were finalists, and they're videoing, and then they called out the other girl's name as the runner-up.
Yeah.
And so a couple of seconds went by that were dry, and you could tell they were like processing that.
Right.
Like, oh, that means my mom won. And the phone like flies. And they totally lost track of the fact they're supposed to be videoing this moment for me. And the phone flies, and you hear my daughters going, "That's my mom!"
Oh,
and
wow.
I love that.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so then finally they recover the phone, and you see me being crowned. But it's a really wonderful thing having adult children and older children like that to where we, actually get to be friends as well. So.
Oh, that's awesome. You mentioned a little bit about your charity work and how a lot of the preparation is knowing what charity you represent and everything. So could you tell us a little bit about that charity and why you chose to go that route?
Yes, absolutely. So my charity is 100 Families. They were actually piloted here in Fort Smith, Arkansas about 5 years ago.
Okay.
They have spread to over 19 counties in Arkansas in that short time.
Wow.
Several different states and even in Canada now. So they're growing rapidly because of the results that they're seeing. They're not trying to reinvent the wheel. They're not offering anything new. What they do is pull together every community resource that we already have established, state resources, national resources. And when a family or an individual comes in that is in crisis, they sit them down and give them a 13-point assessment that really covers every area of their life, from education to food to jobs and housing, all of these things, childcare. And from that assessment, they pinpoint their exact needs.
Yeah.
And then they look into their hub, which is just our online database of all our community partners. And they send them out referrals to all of these places that can help fill those needs. And then the caseworker, the family advocate, is actually what it's called, from 100 Families, walks through all of that process with these individuals, stays with them, problem solves very uniquely with each family. Some families are struggling to have a ride to get these things done. And so they'll feel that need. The family advocate will take them places.
That's awesome.
Some families can't even apply to any of these places because they've had a fire at their house and lost their documents, and things like that. So they very uniquely fill needs with each individual. And as a foster parent, myself, I fostered over 160 kids. And we saw...
I'm like in awe. I feel very inadequate right now, but I love you for it. I think you're absolutely incredible.
Wow.
Holy cow. Such a giving heart.
Yeah.
Such a giving heart.
We saw all of these families that were in this life cycle that they seem to not be able to get out of just lack and need. But what 100 Families does is pulls them up out of that cycle for good. by really filling all of those needs to where they can finally, come out of that life cycle. And it is so incredible to see, not just as an individual and a person in the community, but as a former foster parent who saw all of those families struggling in that way. Not every family has support and other family members or close friends, and we've seen a guy who didn't have a ride to court. Because he didn't have a ride to court, he had a warrant put out for his arrest, and that violated his parole. So he went back to prison and lost his children. Lost his children because he didn't have a ride to court. That would never happen to me or you. I could call 100 people, and have a ride to court, but some people do not have a support system. So 100 Families is saying, we're going to be your support system. And we're going to make sure all these needs are filled so that this doesn't happen. And recently, some statistics came out for 100 Families, and they put their statistics out at their monthly meetings and on their website. So it's so fun to see because it's absolutely incredible. But I believe it was Crawford County, 100 Families, that had put this out recently and said 100% of families who come to 100 Families for services and have already lost custody of their children have gained custody back.
Wow. That's amazing.
100%. So that is how successful they are being at filling these needs and really helping these people up. And that's building a stronger community. I can't think of anything that would build a stronger community. And so when I partner with 100 Families, I'm not just partnering with one charity. I'm partnering with everyone in our hub who partners with us, the pregnancy crisis centers, the mental health facilities, our homeless shelters, our boys and girls clubs. So I'm able to support all of these charities that we have. And it's so incredible to get to feel like I'm a part of all of that in a small way.
There are so many resources available, but I think it can be overwhelming. So having that one spot that people can go, one place that people can go to get access to all those resources is important.
Yes, because they can't take off work to go to all of those different places and start at square one. And oftentimes don't have a ride or different things. So it is too much.
So you mentioned being a foster parent. What got you started on that journey?
So I had actually known someone who was very close to me. I was 23 years old. I was married. I had a 1-year-old. No, I had a son. My oldest son was about 1.5 years, and then I had a newborn. And someone close to us had gone into foster care. And we found out about that. And so it was over a weekend. Monday morning, I called DHS, filled out my application to foster. And while we were going through that process, and this was 20 years ago, so the process took longer than technology has definitely sped that up for us. But it took a while. It took, I think, maybe 4 months at that time it was taking. And so during that time, the child had a grandparent who was able to gain custody of them. But we were so close to opening that we went ahead anyways. And I'm so glad that we did. We spent many years fostering. I was a stay-at-home mom and had babies and toddlers. So I wanted teenagers. I wanted junior high age kids and teenagers because I wanted somebody to be able to interact with and just be able to visit with and have around. And, we had been warned not to take teenagers. And I didn't listen. A little stubborn. And, we have such a good relationship with so many of those teenagers still. And we've seen them get married, and we've seen them have their own children and be at the hospital when they had their kids. And we've even had some move back in with us. So I'm, glad that we went that route. We had our first sibling group, or it was the first kids we ever fostered. So it was nighttime. And the caseworker walks up to the door and knocks. I'm 23. And I don't think I looked at all. I think I looked like a teenager because of what happened. So she walks up to the door and knocks, and I open the door, and she goes, "Oh, I forgot the stuff in the car." So she turns around and walks off, and there's this 15-year-old girl standing there, her two siblings behind her, and she was taller than me. She was bigger than me, and she looks me up and down and goes, "Where's the mom?"
Oh.
And I was like, "Oh no, she's not getting one in on me." And I went, "I am the mom."
Yeah, that's right.
And so I knew I had to make sure she knew I was the boss.
Yeah.
But we had that sibling group for 9 months, and they went back home to their parents, and we were so happy for them. But they called us every Sunday. They were allowed to call us, and for a long, long time. And we loved those kiddos. So
Yeah. And I was a foster parent for a few years. And so I know there are a lot of ups and downs in that journey, but the need's great for foster families in the area, or really across the nation. Yes. So what would you say to somebody who's considering being a foster family?
I would say that when you make a decision based off of fear, it's never the right decision. And I very easily could have decided not to take teenagers based off of fear of stories I'd heard or different things. But it wasn't the right decision.
Right.
And these kids, at no fault of their own, are suffering. And it's our duty as community members, as Christians, to feel that need and not hesitate based off of fear. And it's been probably the best decision we ever made. Had some incredible kids come through, and getting to watch them, and they come and visit us, and we're friends on Facebook and different things, and just getting to still have them in my life, even though we're not fostering, is so awesome. We had a little guy that we got at birth, and he was about 2 years old when the court decided that he needed to be adopted. And we were not in the position to adopt at the time. He had a lot of special needs. And so I knew that we were going to let them find a home for him. And that was really tough because we'd had him since birth. So that was very tough. But the family that had come forward, she had shared with me, and this was before they knew his name. They knew his age and his gender. So we had a phone conversation, and she said, "The only reason we hesitated to ever adopt is because my entire life I've known that I wanted to name our child after my dad." And she said, "I know that sounds petty, but it's been in my mind, it's been in my heart to do that." And, when you adopt a child, you can't just rename them. They already have their name. And so I said, "Well, what's your dad's name?" And she said, "Bill." And our little guy's name was Billy.
Oh, wow.
Meant to be.
That is awesome. And,
Yes.
even if a child moves to another home, it gets adopted or goes back to their family, you're playing a pivotal role, a key role in their lives and their development for that period of time. And it's essential for those kids to develop, even if it's just for a short amount of time in a foster family's home. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
What about your childhood? I'm always intrigued by people that have such giving hearts, and really, truly you do, like fostering kids and now going through and helping 100 families. And it just seems ingrained in you to be this community-minded, giving heart. What about childhood? What about family kind of instilled that in you?
I had incredible parents growing up. I don't know that I knew it at the time.
We all question
That's
that.
hindsight's always 20/20.
As an adult, I'm like, Wow, I had a great childhood.
Yeah.
My dad was a deacon in our church. He was a dentist in our community. And my mom was a school teacher. She retired to join the legislature. And just very good people. I had a great family on both sides that were just good influences on me. I had both sets of grandparents that remained married to each other their entire life. And I have a sister who's very, very driven and is very successful and lives in Little Rock. My brother's here in Van Buren. But we had good family who raised us right and taught us to, put others first. And although I don't think I realized it at the time, man, I'm so grateful for that. And like you said, the time that we have with kids it leaves a lasting impact.
Yeah.
So that goes farther than we know.
Yeah.
It really does. And I am grateful that I didn't have a childhood that I had to overcome.
Yeah.
And not everybody is blessed with that.
Right.
So
Did you grow up in the Fort Smith area?
I grew up in Alma.
Okay, nice.
I did, yeah, in
Nice.
Airedale.
So do you when you're in Fort Smith, now we're going to kind of change gears a little bit, but when you're in Fort Smith, where do you like to eat? Where do you like to hang out? What do you like to do?
Oh, now listen, I'm a foodie. So
Okay.
now's a real conversation.
All right.
Oh, my favorite place to eat in Fort Smith is Jerry Neal's.
Oh,
I
wow.
love Jerry Neal's.
That one hasn't popped up,
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah, that's a new one.
I
Yeah.
love Jerry Neal's. I love barbecue.
Yeah.
And I love Chipotle. I know everybody.
Yeah.
They're like, that's not even a restaurant. It's a fast food. But I love it.
Yeah.
I do stick mildly to keto.
Yeah.
I'll go outside of that whenever I want, but I do try. And Chipotle, I can get a lot of things there that are on keto, but I am a sweets fanatic. So I love the crumble cookie.
Oh, yeah.
my goodness. Crumble Cookie Company, and Vargas Fruitera.
Oh,
so
yeah.
good.
Vargas is great.
Vargas
Yes.
Fruitera is, and listen, they're right down the road from my house. I have to pass them
Yeah.
all the time. It's so hard. I'm like, I don't have the kids with me.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm running like 5 minutes early. Like this is,
I can make this happen.
Yes.
And they have like the crazy ice cream cones too, right? And the
yes.
the
They
huge
have, like,
shakes.
the
Yeah.
Donuts inside
Yeah,
them. and
yeah.
like Fruity Pebbles on them. And
Yeah, that's
yes, you can get anything there.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Good.
What do you do? What do you do like in your free time? Are there any clubs or anything that you're? I mean, free time. You have 9 kids. You have foster.
it's like
I'm like,
work.
what? I'm kind of rethinking that question. But if you were to have free time, what would you do? What do you do to just for fun around town?
Yeah, I love to walk. And that's something that I just realized in the recent years that I love to go walking at places. The kids and I'll go walk around the neighborhood. Or sometimes, now that we live in Fort Smith, I grew up in the country. We couldn't even see our neighbor's house. So walking somewhere wasn't really, an option. But now the kids and I will walk to the store sometimes just to get the exercise and have fun instead of driving.
Yeah.
And we like to go to the nature center and walk there, or find other places to just grab a coffee and go walk. And I love that. And I like to maybe meet up with my friends and do things on rare occasion.
Yeah.
We'll go dress shopping or something.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Well, thank you so much for being a part of today's show. And I wish you the best as you continue your reign as Miss Worldwide 2025. And I look forward to what the future holds for you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.